Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical, out on Netflix, adaptation of a stage musical, which in turn is an adaptation of a book by Roald Dahl. The book has previously been adapted to the big screen in 1996, and I have seen nor read none of those previous versions other than this one. It encountered some bumps along the road when being made. It was originally being made by Sony, who wanted a theatrical release for the film, but then as they were starting pre-production in 2020, the COVID lockdowns began, and so the producers were worried about there not being a possibility of a theatrical release with the cinemas being closed down completely. So they preemptively sold the movie to Netflix, and that's where it ended up. But with all the subsequent COVID-related delays, it only comes out now, so the theatrical release wouldn't have been a problem after all. Anyway, it stars Alicia Weir, Emma Thompson, Lashana Lynch, Stephen Graham, and Andrea Riseborough, and is in fact a proper musical. The story follows Matilda, a young girl who is sort of thoroughly unwanted by her disinterested parents. So much so that they forget to enroll her in school for a good 10 years of her life. Fortunately, she likes to escape into literature, into reading tons of books, learning, becoming incredibly smart and creative with the stories that she comes up with. So when the social services finally appear to send her to school, it's not a big problem. Or at least it shouldn't be, because Matilda ends up at the Crunchum Hall Academy, run by the monstrous Miss Trunchbull. The school is grey, unpleasant, awful, and the headmistress routinely calls children maggots, and she sort of despises any creativity and individuality, and the whole thing is just more like a prison than a school. So naturally, Matilda begins to rebel, and her flowery personality immediately begins clashing with that of Miss Trunchbull. So I didn't expect all that much from the film, and I ended up enjoying it rather a lot. I think it's very well made and can be appreciated equally by adults and children. In fact, one of the things I liked about it, and most of the works of Roald Dahl in fact, is that it's not a sanitized, safe, pleasant tale for children. It has dark elements, it has terror and sadness and weirdness. And I always thought that children should get familiar with all those things as well, not just happy places, and that they can handle more than we sometimes think as adults. So I was happy that Matilda doesn't really shy away from those darker aspects. Secondly, I think it's got a great energy to it. The songs are well written and performed. Some of the choreography is spectacular, considering it mostly involves child actors. I loved the alphabet song, with the lyrics matching the concurrent letters shown on screen in very creative ways, and you don't really realize that until the second chorus, which is kind of a brilliant light bulb moment. It's really done very creatively, and it reminded me of Baby Driver, when the hero is getting coffee early on. And I really also loved the Rebellion song, or Revolution song, towards the end. All in all though, they're all pretty enjoyable. The production design is fantastic, with the contrasts between the dreary grays of the prison school and the colorful imagination of Matilda, and also all the colors in her family house. I like the way that the lighting accentuates those contrasts. There's one moment in the film where the colorful, sunny classroom of Miss Honey, who's like the only cheerful teacher, immediately darkens when Miss Trunchbull comes in, and the color seems to be washed away and disappear. I think the performances are all very good. Alicia Weir is great as Matilda. Emma Thompson is unrecognizable as Miss Trunchbull, but clearly has loads of fun and a great presence. And speaking of presences, Lashana Lynch, who I really enjoyed in Captain Marvel, shines very brightly here as well. All in all, I liked it. I liked it quite a lot. I think it's a very solid musical that, despite, or perhaps because of, its ability to mix child-friendly, cute storylines with elements of darkness, fear and sadness, ends up being a really good viewing for the entire family.